Hello, I'm Ed with Friendly Farms.
And I'm Leo with Classy Hippie Tea.
And we are here today to talk about vaporizers, cannabis, and tea.
Rock and roll.
Leo, you run Classy Hippie Tea Company in Oak Park in Sacramento, and You're basically an artisanal, you are a tea sommelier.
There it is. Thank you.
Tell me what a tea sommelier does.
Well, you know, one of the easiest way I like to start off is like sommelier, the country. So many people pronounce the word wrong. Sommelier is just a variation of the words heavy A on the end versus sommelier, soft A. But pretty much I'm an expert in the craft. And there are tea masters, which would be one level ahead of me, and who I would reference within the industry for knowledge. But yes, I am a tea master or tea sommelier.
And how about your cannabis knowledge?
I would say it's pretty small, but at the same time, I use, and I've also done a lot of pairings. So
and that's what we're here today to talk about is cannabis pairings with tea.
That's it.
And from a standpoint of flavors, from a standpoint of aromas, tea has a very good complementary nature with cannabis.
Based on the tannins. Yep.
You have tannins in your vocabulary.
Yep.
Us cannabis people have terpenes in our vocabulary.
That's it.
But they're fairly similar.
Mm-hmm.
If you're familiar with wine, you're familiar with tannins, and they apply pretty much the same with tea.
And the one way that you could recognize it, that's generally that bitter, dry feel that you're going to get. Some people say it clears the mouth or cleans the mouth, but it's a refreshing cleanness that you get after.
So what makes tea a good pairing with cannabis?
In my opinion, it's going to be the acid levels within tea. So if you're thinking about being neutral, alkaline, or not alkaline, tea is going to come in right at like a -2, whereas coffee, sodas, some other beverages that are higher in sugars are going to come in at right around that -7, -8. Those are the things that we generally consume with cannabis, but obviously they're not hydrating. So tea is going to be a lot better of a complementary herb.
You just opened the door to a conversation, or to the other C word,
rock and roll.
Coffee.
That's it.
Coffee gets a lot of attention.
You were going to say complimentary.
Oh,
Yes.
Coffee gets a lot of attention in terms of cannabis. Mm-hmm. Coffee and cannabis is a classic old pairing, the old hippie highball.
That's it.
They go together fairly well. I'm not asking you is one better than the other, but is tea is tea a better pairing with cannabis and coffee?
You just asked me if it was better, Ed. You know, personally for me, I don't like that thickness that I get with a lot of other beverages. And then a lot of times you tend to have the munchies when you're going through this as well. So all these things are going to pull water out of your digestive tract. So what you want to do is add something in that's going to be a little more hydrating. And that's again where I say for this conversation, tea would definitely be my choice of consumption while smoking.
And tea
or
also
vaping.
And tea also has very, very natural complementary flavors.
Yes.
There's a lot of berry notes. There's a lot of lemon notes. There's a lot of citrus, earthy woodsiness in teas, in the range of teas, herbals and florals.
Yep.
And that's what you get in cannabis as well.
Yep.
The Friendly Farms vape pens, our flavor profiles are huge.
Yes.
We're very fruity. We're very sweet.
Yes.
We're very floral, woodsy, piney.
I have a sample today that we have called Nirvana. It's a Japanese green tea with lemongrass, goju berry, blueberry, and pomegranate. It pairs well with a lot of Friendly Farms strains.
It sounds like it pairs well with a lot of cannabis strains in general.
Yes.
It has a note from here, a note from there.
And that sweetness is going to help on the back end with hydrating again.
What is the key to pairing tea with another component, whether it's food, whether it's cannabis, chocolate, or fresh strawberries even?
And everyone's going to have their approach, right? My approach is you either have something that's going to complement or something that's going to be completely different, contrast. So one of the two C's. Generally, when I'm going with cannabis, then I want something that's going to complement. So with the fruitiness and things like that, I really like something with fruit in it, as in a fruitier tea. If we're going with something that's a little more woodsy, then I would go with something very popular Japanese tea is a genmaicha that has roasted brown rice in it. Just a little more on that earthy profile.
A lot of our Friendly Farm strains are very fruit forward. A lot of berries, a lot of citrus,
Yeah.
a lot of big sweet flavors. How does tea work with those types of flavors, and what types of tea would you recommend with those types of flavors?
Believe it or not, playing off of tannins, as we were talking about before, tannins are going to give you a little bit of a bitter, dry flavor or profile on the back end. So adding in those fruits, as you were saying, are naturally going to be a great complement, which is why, again, we went with Nirvana. The fruit is going to help with sugar, which is going to make you salivate. That's going to help you enjoy your experience just that much more because you're not thirsty now.
Now you brought, this is Nirvana tea.
Yes.
What's its major hallmarks? Or its flavor profiles?
I would definitely say that berry profile is what runs with this. Yes.
That's big and sweet.
Yes, it is.
And this is loose leaf tea?
This will be loose leaf. And we have our goji berry, blueberry, and pomegranate again.
And you have hot water. About how hot is the water for this tea?
Now, depending on your tradition, what tradition you follow, either all water is boiling and then you steep it to the correct temperature for the tea type, or let me put water in there. Or you pay attention to the temperature as well. And green tea is generally brought to a temperature of 175 to 180. And I like to give about a 30-second steep.
The temperature of the water is a very similar discussion to the temperature of a vape pen. If your vape pen is too hot, you're going to burn your oils and your concentrates. If it's not hot enough, you're not going to get the full process working.
Right.
So the notion of keeping mind of your tea temperatures and keeping mind of your vape temperatures really goes hand in hand. It's another complementary aspect.
Well, a beautiful thing that a lot of people don't realize is, these leaves are still alive. They have a life force within them.
Really?
And if you don't pay attention to the temperature, similar to your skin, your outer layer, it burns. And that's the same with the tea. That's what's burning. It's that outer layer, and it gives it that bitterness. So paying attention to the temperature makes it sweet like butter.
That's interesting because we like to think of our concentrates, our live resin concentrates. That is very interesting, and I think it's time that we smoke.
There it is.
Leo, thank you for joining me today.
Rock and roll.
Okay.
Thank you, Ed.
I'm Ed with Friendly Farms. This is Leo from Classy Hippie, and we've been talking about tea and cannabis.